Peace, everyone. My name is Shechem Ra, and welcome to Kala Purusha Astrology. This is your channel for astrological case studies, current events, and astrological tidbits. Today, I'm coming to you in a short video just to discuss the current upcoming eclipse on July the 2nd and also the potential matters of war that could come out of this particular placement. Now, today we're going to actually discuss this against the backdrop of an actual chart that we have here. And this chart is the chart of the Islamic Republic of Iran. And in mundane astrology, when we begin to try to predict or understand what's going to happen, we want to use a chart that we can actually align things up with so that we can see how things are manifesting with regards to that country and those placements and those particular aspects and conjunctions and what have you. Now, if you look here, right, we actually have in front of us the actual chart of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now, what we do in mundane astrology is we actually take a look at the actual country to see if we can gauge if this particular chart matches with the setup and how the country is run. And if you take a look here, now this particular inner circle is the actual chart of the country. The outer circle are the actual transits that are happening in real time. But the inner chart, or the inner circle, excuse me, shows us that Iran has a Cancer ascendant. And this particular placement with Cancer ascendant, the ascendant of a country shows the actual image of the country. It shows how the country is viewed. It shows how the country views itself. It shows how the country portrays itself to the world at large and to itself. Well, aside from the Cancer ascendant, and it's really less important than the placement of this planet here, Jupiter. Jupiter is in the ascendant, the lagna or the rising of the country. Jupiter, of all the planets, hands down, is a planet of religion. And the name of the country itself, the Islamic Republic of Iran, shows just that. It shows that the country identifies itself with a religion. Now, not only that, right? Whenever a planet is placed in the ascendant, and this is either for natal astrology or mundane astrology, that particular placement creates an embodiment of that particular placement, meaning that it shows that this is what they're going to represent. It shows that this is how they're going to portray themselves in the world at large. Moving deeper into this particular inner circle here, and again, the inner circle is the chart of the country itself, we want to know if this particular chart matches what we see in the world in real time. As above, so below. Well, let's take a look. Now, in mundane astrology, we look at certain planets to get an idea on certain aspects of the country. And to find the king, the one planet we can hone in on very quickly is the sun, right? The sun represents the king, the ruler, right? And the sun is placed in the ninth house, right? Now, the ninth house is the house of religion, dogma, higher knowledge, and so forth. So right there, we can see that this particular country, right, its ruler, right, comes from a religious purview. And so again, not only do we see that the embodiment of the country is religious, but the ruler is religious. Now, the ruler in Iran is called the Supreme Leader Khomeini, right? And the Supreme Leader Khomeini has complete power over the country. He can make decisions with regards to economics, economic policy, foreign policy. He makes the decisions as far as war. He's the chief in command. He makes the decisions as far as law. He is the sole power of the country. Everyone must answer to him in the final say so. Now, we've got 2 points so far. We've got the ascendant as the embodiment of religion. The name itself says that. Secondly, we see that the leader, again, the sun, is placed in the 9th house of religion, showing again that this is a match directly for this particular country, that the ruler is religious, right? Not that he is religious himself, but where he sits, his power is in religion, right? And we also can look to the 10th house and the 10th ruler or the 10th lord to find out about the ruler of the country. Well, the 10th house is Aries, and Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is in the 9th house. Again, showing that the rulers of the land, the powers that be in the land, are coming from a religious background. So now we have 3 points. We can say that number 1, again, the country embodies religion. 2, the sole leader, the king, right, is religious. And 3, they have a president, just like other countries. They have a cabinet and things of that nature. They have a voting process. But that is all cut short if the Supreme Leader Khomeini says, no, that leader will not rule. That president will not rule. So now we also have the 10th Lord in the 9th house, again showing a consistent theme of religious rulership. Now, moving on, the reason for this video is really because of the eclipse that's coming up on July the 2nd. And an eclipse, everyone, I like to take the word out of eclipse and use the word clip, right? An eclipse clips your will, right? It creates a blind spot for you to make decisions, as far as making decisions. And this is from on high to countries, down low to individuals, right? You are clipped. You have a blind spot. You are limited in your understanding as far as those energies are concerned. Well, it's in Gemini, right here in the 12th house. Now, before I move into the actual eclipse, I want to talk about something real quick here that's very crucial, because since we have an actual chart that we can look at with regards to the country, we can see if that country is actually going to ramp up for any type of warlike activities. And if you look here, you'll see Mars in this outer ring again are the actual transits as they are in real time. Now, really quickly here, this is sidereal astrology. This is how it looks in the night sky. This is not a calculation. And it is a calculation, let me say that, but it's actually when you go out and you take a look, even without a computer, if you can see these planets in the sky at the time, you can actually see them in these particular constellations. So that's why we use sidereal, because we don't have to reach or figure things out beyond a calculation. We can see that it's actually there. As above, again, so below. Well, Mars is in the ascendant of the country, right? It's actually at 5 degrees, 57 minutes, midnight on July 2nd, right? That Mars is aligning right up with Jupiter. Again, the ruler of the 9th house, the ruler of the sun, the ruler, the king, right? And it also rules the 10th lord, which is Mars. So Jupiter rules both of these planets, and Mars is at its exact degree conjunction. This is a very serious matter, right? This can definitely be dangerous. Now, in addition to that, right, as well, Jupiter rules the 6th house of enemies and religion. And again, these, when I say the 9th house, we're talking about the rulers. We're talking about the people that make the decisions to go to war or to stay at peace. So enemies and leaders are being influenced by Mars. Moving into the actual eclipse, right? The eclipse itself happens in the 12th house, right? And again, an eclipse is a time when things can be very sudden and erratic. They can come out of nowhere, right? That's that clipped will. clipped ability to make decisions, a clipped self-control, right? The 12th house is the house of loss. It's the house of self-undoing, the house of expenditure. Well, if we look here very quickly, and there were a couple of incidents that happened in June. One, June 18th, which is a tanker that was maligned by Iranian armed forces. And also there was a drone shot out of the sky on June 20th by Iranian forces at night. Right? Now, let's jump back here a few days. Right? We're going to go back to when this particular first incident happened on June 18th. And you'll see Mars in the 12th house. Now, the 12th house in mundane astrology, if the first house represents the actual country itself, meaning the embodiment of the country, the overall scope of the country, or the overall mindset of the country, right? Then that means that the 12th house is its borders on any side, right? Whether it be, and the thing about Iran, it's not landlocked. It has a gulf, right? Well, you'll see here on June 18th, Mars is in the 12th house. That means that on its borders, right, there was some skirmishes, right? There was some attacks. There was some fighting, right, on June 18th. That's number one. Number two, we're going to jump forward a couple days. On June 20th, again, and Mars only moves 1 degree every couple of days. It takes about 45 days to move through one sign. Right? So it moves fairly slow in comparison to the other planets. But again, on June 20th, you see Mars right here in the 12th house, right? And I'm showing you this because this is showing that there is a buildup of energies. There is a momentum that is coming with regards to this particular warlike attitude or mentality. And they have actually made statements that they are ready for war, right? They are ready to go to war. Well, if we jump forward, right, a couple of days, in fact, yesterday Mars moved into Cancer, right? Today it's just also entering into Cancer. Jumping forward to the 2nd of July, Mars is right at 5 degrees, conjuncting Jupiter, which is the 6th and 9th Lord. 9th Lord meaning it's ruling the Sun, and the 10th Lord, the ruler, right? So this is showing some very, very heated energy. In fact, and you see Mercury here. Mercury is the planet of communication. In fact, Mercury is really embodying and holding and transmuting all of that eclipsed energy, right, into the first house with Mercury. And Mercury is debilitated in Cancer. It doesn't do very well, right? Cancer is a sign that literally creates a hair trigger out of Mercury. It makes Mercury, I'm sorry, not Mercury, Mars. Mars is debilitated in Cancer. When Mars is in Cancer, it creates a hair trigger, right? It can make a person or a country snap, right, in an instant, right? It's thin-skinned, right? Hypersensitive. That being said, in its ascendant, right, and they made a statement right along with Mercury being in the first house about 8 hours ago today on June 24th, that literally they're looking for American or United States Armed Forces to make a mistake. They're looking for this. So this is showing this particular energy lining right up with this particular Mars in the ascendant. This is how we really can see that this is the country's chart, right? Now, I don't know, and I'm not against anyone's spiritual practices, whether it be if you pray, right? Prayer works for some people. I'm not here to say if it works or not. If you meditate, I'm not here to say if that works. If you chant mantras or you chant what are called hekau, right? If you do rituals, sacrifices, whatever it may be, right? These things definitely need to be done in light of this particular placement, because things are ramping up, as I showed. And with things ramp up, it could be a little bit before, it could be a bit after this date, but something could definitely be triggered and could cause, I don't want to say World War III, but let's all be honest, Iran is aligned with some superpowers, Russia and China, and it wouldn't bode well for us if we went to war or they went to war with us. It wouldn't be a good day, right? So let's definitely send out positive energies. If you have your prayers or you go to church, send out, some energies that can lighten the load, that can, soothe the airways, if you will. That's definitely something that we need to do, being that these energies are around us. Um, that is really the purpose of the video, is to get this out there and to get people aware of what's going on, and to actually use, again, a chart that we can kind of see how these energies are manifesting in real time. Again, as above, so below. One quick announcement before I go: there is a podcast called Cosmic Convo, and you can find that on iTunes. What we discuss on that podcast is very, very much in depth with regards to history. We delve into astrology really deeply, and we also talk about current events like we did today. You can also find me. My name again is Shechem Ra. I'm on Instagram, IG as Shechem Ra, and also you can find me on Facebook, Shechem Ra. With that being said, peace, love, and light.